Personally, I've never been an alarmist, but there is a very serious threat to freedom of speech in America right now. Now, I'm not a white supremacist conspiracy nut. That's not how I roll, and that's not how my subscribers roll. But there is a very serious Zionist threat occurring right now in America. There is a group called the Zionist Organization of America, and it's currently actively working to block any protests against Israeli actions or American policy concerning the Israeli state. This is very serious, so listen up. The U.S. Secretary of Education, Arne Duncan, recently put forward new guidelines for protecting new minority groups within educational institutions, the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community, and disabled students. However, there's this, which is a good thing to help these people from being bullied and exploited and whatnot, but there's this new definition that's suddenly shown up. It's called shared ethnic characteristics. This new definition seemed to come out of nowhere and seemingly not requested by anyone. Shared ethnic experiences is their term for Zionists, which means anytime you criticize Israel, or you criticize Israeli policy, or you criticize U.S. policy on Israel, you are now committing a hate crime against supposed Israelis. You're now committing a hate crime against Jewish people, criticizing an illegitimate genocidal state. This is set up to protect their horrible mentality and the way they promote themselves. But you're probably asking, exactly how is this being slipped in? Title VI of the Civil Rights Act says colleges and universities that don't address issues of discrimination can lose their federal funding. The message being sent here with these new guidelines is that if an educational institution criticizes Israel, or criticizes its policy, or criticizes its genocide against Palestinians, they're now conducting hate speech and can therefore have their federal funding pulled. Which basically means anything the Zionist organization, the religious fundamentalist organization of Zion, deems to be hate speech is now punishable by loss of educational standards, a loss of educational funding. In other words, they're going to hurt students for anyone daring to speak out against Israel. I mean, it's an educational institution. This place, probably more than any other, should be allowed to express ideas, particularly ideas against genocide, which is still a problem. We have these Zionists defending that right to genocide against the Palestinians. This all began in 2004 when somebody sent a letter to the U.S. Civil Rights Office in the government. Now, this was from the Zionist Organization of America, the ZOA. Now, what they said was, there's this terrible anti-Semitism everywhere, and it's Jewish students can't even live. It's so horrible. They're exploited, they're depressed, they're harassed, they're bullied. Completely different from how Palestinians are suffering it. And this is the letter they sent. The University of California of Irvine is where they said that this was going on. However, a whole bunch of Jewish organizations on that campus came out and refuted them. One of them was the Anteaters for Israel, a pro-Israel group, said no, they were lying. And the Jewish fraternity and sorority, they even came out and said, no, they're lying. They didn't come out and say, you're a liar. They're saying these accusations are overblown and exaggerated. And these are pro-Jewish groups. And one of them is a pro-Israeli group. They're completely contradicting and proving wrong exactly what the Zionist Organization of America is saying. I don't have to tell any of you about the severe danger of allowing Zionists to control what is and what is not free speech in America. I don't need to tell you, my viewership, that. I don't need to tell anybody that. You need to send a message to the Zionist Organization of America and its leader, Mort Klein, and let them know that America does not make its policy based on what Israel wants. The U.S. government makes its policy based on what Americans want. And Zionism will not be a threat to the American freedom of speech.